My name is Lay. I go by Mahiwaga Lay. I am an intuitive psychic medium, and I'm about to give an intuitive reading to a client, Kelley, for today. Kelley, how are you feeling? Are you ready to get going with this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
The reading? Okay, perfect. So I am getting some messages come up from Spirit already. I do think we may touch in a little bit on love life. I'm wanting to see where they start. Let me see. They're definitely starting by going back to the past a little bit. They're giving me a pretty clear time frame. So they are going back like up to 6 to 7 years in the past. And what they are telling me is they are bringing up someone in particular. I do feel like this person may have been platonic for you. Maybe it was like romantic, or maybe it was like a little bit like a love interest, but I think the overall dynamic may not have been one of an official romantic relationship. Now, when I feel this time for you, like several years back, the word that they're giving me and the feeling I get is troubled. And I get the words like vulnerable, just by, I think, a little bit of the connection to this person. I wouldn't say that you two got into conflict or anything like that, but there's something that ties back into some emotional issues that maybe you've had from being younger. So for the childhood stuff, I get a very young age for you that they're bringing up, perhaps around 3 years old, like give or take maybe a year. And I am getting the words like, I think maybe a little bit introverted is the vibe that I get, but I get the word also highly perceptive. And it feels like you are highly sensitive to different energies around you and other people. It seems like you were very, very perceptive. And so even though you're quiet, I sense that you picked up on a lot, even when you were less than like 5 years old. In particular, you may have had what feels to me like a mom or a mother figure who may have been like a little bit stern, like their face looks, I don't want to say harsh, but it's a little, they're kind of serious, you know? So yeah. I feel like that for you perhaps cemented this feeling that you kind of had to be a little bit more alone. And they're giving me this song called Alone. I think it's by the band called Heart. You don't need to know it, but they just give me songs sometimes to like confirm the words that I'm picking up on. So they're giving me that. So I feel like for me from a young age, like well composed, like, you know, just pretty put together, like pretty well behaved, right? Yeah. Just really perceptive, but maybe not one who's like totally relaxed, right? And that may have been because of some influence in your home dynamic, or maybe there was someone who's a little bit more serious. So, you know, usually for children too, if there's someone more serious in the house, maybe the kid is not going to be like as playful. This is what I'm picking up on for you. And there's this underlying thing where, okay, you feel like, okay, I have to be like independent. And it seems like, you know, Spirit's giving me this almost like a limiting belief about yourself to just by default feel like pretty contained. And it's not bad, like you're super stiff per se, but it just doesn't seem like you're as open to like connecting with other people as much as you could. And so that's why they're going back now to the person that they're bringing up. And this person, to me, they do feel masculine, right? And this is the person that was touching on some of the emotional issues for you. And so this person, to me, they're showing me like what looks like a man of color, maybe slightly brown or tan skin, that may or may not be literal. And of course, you can interpret the gender however you want or need to, because obviously sometimes I have like queer clients, but regardless of the gender, the energy seems pretty masculine. And this person is someone who could be a little bit like, there's someone who could be like a little bit kind of like cool in a certain way, or with a certain aesthetic, because they're showing me stuff like Air Jordans, like basketball, like someone who wears like casual clothing. It's almost like if they're wearing jeans, it looks like almost a little bit baggy or loose. So it's not someone who's like preppy. It's not someone, you know, who has like they're not flashy. They're a little bit more casual. So this person has that type of vibe. And this is someone where I feel like because of your intuition, you sensed, I would say pretty soon, that there's something a little bit different about that person. This may have been someone where, I don't know if you were like in school at the time, I don't know how old you are, but maybe if you were especially like, I don't know if that would have been like high school even, or younger than that. It's almost like, I don't know if it's a desire to feel connected to them or just feeling that energy to them was touching in on, again, your issues of like vulnerability, and again, kind of, maybe how would I put it, like provoking this sense of awareness of your vulnerability or maybe inability to be as vulnerable as you would like. So it's interesting because they give me the word mum or even silence, just to show that at that time your dynamic with that person, maybe you were not even talking. I don't know if you were actually friends or maybe didn't know each other that well, but it's interesting that they're giving me the word, if I'm seeing this correctly, I don't know if it's something, let me see what they're saying. They're giving me the word unwritten, actually. So there's something about this story that could be unresolved. Again, it's something that was like very like underlying before. I don't know that it was over. My inclination would be that it's not necessarily an ex, but there's something about that energy where if you wanted to bring that back, like overtly, they're saying you could, even within the next several years if you wanted to, but you don't have to. And they're just saying that a time of personal interest for you in terms of your love life, there may be a time of opportunity within the next, I would say more around 2 years. At the earliest could be end of next year, depends on whether you're ready for it or not, if you want to cultivate more of a dating life. The energy and the fortune for you in terms of your love life is good, especially that window of like up to 2 to 3 years from now, but 2024, end of 2023, looks like it's going to be like a really good time for you to maybe put your best foot forward, maybe call in a good connection. I do feel a strong potential that you are going to find a long-term partner or have some of that dynamic be settled even by like 2026 is what I would say for you. So it's kind of open-ended, doesn't have to be that person before, but again, if anything, you know, it could just be an inspiration for if you felt that way about someone, that you can be like, okay, I want to feel that way again. I want to feel like there's some kind of positive energy, strong energy between me and someone else, right? So that would be their advice for you. And in the meantime, they're advising you to maybe meditate a bit on your childhood and to unpack any issues that you might have in regard to maybe like the mother or mother figure. And I'm going to check in with you in a second to see if that made sense and if you knew at the different points like who I was talking about. But yeah, that's what they're advising for you, to just kind of also reflect and just see what comes up for you, especially if you want to hone your intuition more, because you are highly, highly intuitive. I do feel that you have clairvoyance, which is like what I have, like I'm seeing all these different things. For you, that could potentially come up very easily. You might, if you want to, you can start with guided meditation. Something that you already have very strongly, I feel like, is your claircognizance, which is inner knowing, especially when it comes to navigating your direction in life, making certain decisions, even including work and career. It's almost like, you know, like, okay, it's time for me to do this, you know, XYZ in terms of that area of your life. So they're letting you know. And you do have dream guidance as well. You could probably turn it up a little bit if you want, for a spirit to talk to you through your dreams. And that could especially happen within the next few months or so, just depending on whatever intentions you put. Anyone who wants to get more insight from their dreams can always just set the intention to spirit to be like, hey, I want to learn more about this, or I want to hear more about my spirit guides. Feel free to talk to me in my dreams. And then usually spirit is receptive to that, and then it's like we set those intentions, your dream life could be a lot more activated. So they gave you some news about, you know, childhood stuff, a little bit of like your emotional tendencies. It's so cute. They're showing me you like as a flower, and it's like your face is the center of the flower, but they're saying you are so loved. Like, just when I tap into your energy, it's a very sweet, kind, sensitive energy with quite a lot of empathy. So they want you to just be very receptive to connecting with other people, even platonic relationships as well. That could come up more. Even though you're pretty like independent, it doesn't feel like, you know, it feels like you're okay with maybe not having as like a lot of friends, but you can open that up more and just feel a lot more in flow over the time to come. But good stuff is coming for you, especially over the next few years. So I'm really excited for you. And I want to check in with you now though, to see if you've been following with what I've said. If you have any questions, I'm curious if you hopefully know, like I think I mentioned, potentially parent figure, and then maybe, I don't know if it's like a love interest. It's almost like if you had like a crush on someone.
Okay, that makes more sense. So when it comes to like my parents is my mother figure.
Yeah.
So you're correct on that. My mom has a very
kind of
masculine energy in a way.
Yes.
Because my parents are divorced, so she raised me on her own.
When did that happen?
Like when I was 3 or 4 years old.
Yes, that's why I was getting around.
That's when you said 3. I was like, that was around the time my parents divorced.
Yeah, that's probably why you're extra sensitive then.
Yeah, so my mom is she has a lot of masculine energy, and she definitely got it from my grandfather, because my grandfather, he was a very stern person.
Yeah.
and she kind of like, he raised her. So she definitely got it from that. Like my mom, I guess in the emotional, you know, there's times, I guess, I'm guessing I'm learning more now that I'm older.
Yeah.
But there's times when I kept my emotions to myself instead of expressing it to my mom.
Yeah.
And it's not that I didn't trust her or anything like that. It was just kind of like, I don't know. I just never really
independent. Yeah, that's what I was feeling. It's not horrible. It's not like you have a huge shell, but it's a little bit like very self-contained.
Yeah.
And they want you to just kind of relax, be more in flow, be a little bit more receptive to other people instead of feeling a little bit like, yeah, they're giving me like Destiny's Child music. I don't know if it's like I'm a survivor or like, I forgot which one where they mentioned like being independent, like, but yeah, so
very much on that,
yeah, very much on that side. So they want you to be a little bit more open.
Yeah, I for sure need to maybe open up a bit more because I can be closed up. I'm not gonna lie, I actually can be really closed off.
So I think over the next few years, if you want to put a little bit more energy in platonic relationships, you can. Did you by any chance have an idea who, I don't know, maybe like the crush? I don't know if they were full on love interest, but like, I don't know if you can remember who it was. I'm also curious how old you were, maybe you're up to like 6-7 years ago.
I have a feeling, I feel like I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
But like, we didn't really, how can I say it? I feel like I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so because if you feel like you know, because there should be.
Because when you described him, I was like, okay, it kind of sounds like
casual.
Somebody. Yeah. But I didn't really interact with him that much.
That's why I was thinking is like he was around you, but yeah.
But we did like, I don't know how to, it sounds crazy, but I guess we did like look at each other a lot and we would kind of like, you know, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, honestly, I didn't know that I guess, because we did probably talk very, very few. Like it's very minimal.
Yeah. I don't think you normally feel that way for like anybody. So for you to have that, again, I also said you're very intuitive. So for your intuition to be like, oh, I think I know who it is, and it matches with the timing. I think just think about it more, even just the feelings that came up. It's not like it has to do with just that one person specifically. I mean, I think it'd be an open opportunity for you, again, if you wanted to call that up. But otherwise, if you want to think of the emotions that came up, that feeling of connection that you had, if you want to deepen that for yourself and cultivate even stronger heart opening, I think that, again, this good stuff is going to come for you in your love life, give or take like a couple years or so. I think it's probably going to be personal healing until that time, maybe even through next year. But see how you feel, maybe end of next year at the earliest or 2024, but that's going to be your window to start manifesting and asking the universe to send you what you're looking for in your love life. But yeah, do you have any questions about what I said so far? Like any last things you want me to clarify before we wrap up?
I guess more just like career-wise, I guess that's the only thing that I'm kind of more interested in.
Career-wise, there's a little bit of a personal opportunity that may come up. At the earliest, could be like around midway next year, but I think you might have to take some initiative to pull yourself up. It's almost like if there's an opportunity to volunteer yourself at work, it's like I see you being like, I'll take it. You know, when they say, hey, does someone want to do this? Someone want to do this project, take on this client. If you take that initiative around middle of next year, as early as spring, you will see some dividends kind of pay off sometime after that. Aside from that, they don't have much to say about work. So if work is going well, because it doesn't seem that problematic to me or like that challenging. So I think it's probably pretty good. They're giving you a heads up though about that potential window of time like next year. Volunteer for stuff or just do something that like, you know, gets yourself up there a little bit more, maybe a little bit more noticed. It might take a little bit of time for you to see the rewards for that, but it's like whoever's around you at work, if you're working with other people, they'll like notice you more because you took that initiative. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like you'll be on their radar more.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm super excited for you. It was really great reading for you. I'm glad we got to answer your questions. Thank you to everyone for watching. Again, my name is Lei. I'm an intuitive medium. I do dream interpretation and astrology and energy healing. Anybody who wants to know more about those topics, if you want to know more about tapping into your intuition, if you want to book any services, or if you want to learn more about energy healing as well, you can find me at Mahiwaga Lei at Instagram, and that is the URL for my website as well. I'm looking forward to hearing from all of you.